It looks
Yeah,
good on
this
the
is
screen.
episode 10, right?
Yeah.
This is episode 10.
Double digits.
You can tell Lal and I use the same push to talk because we just randomly start typing out tildes in the agenda.
That was me actually typing dashes. I am not
Oh,
push
was
to
it?
talk right now. Yeah.
So welcome to episode 10 of the Multiboxing Podcast. So we're actually going back to the dungeon series this week, which is I'm kind of excited about. We're doing probably two of the most difficult dungeons to multibox, which is Plaguefall and The Other Side. There's also some new stuff coming in WoW this week. We've got Twisting Corridors is out. The second wing of LFR came out. We just got done doing Time Walking, which was super exciting. And then we'll talk about Mythic Plus as well, because I think we're getting to the point where people are going to start doing +4s.
Oh yeah.
And we'll actually the affixes will start to make to have more of an impact. So with that, do we want to just get started with Twisting Corridors? First question, I guess, have either of you unlocked Twisting Corridors?
No, I think I'm halfway. I have to I have to grab Thrall or something. So I did the first piece.
You're almost done. You're
Okay.
like really close to being done. That's like the last step.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with it. I've been still messing with teams and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a total slacker. Like everybody in my raiding guild like gives me like, crap because they're like, dude, what's up with this 171 belt you have? You could just upgrade through the Covenant Sanctum to 184, and I'm like, I can. They're like, yeah, and they're like, have you done Twisting Corridors yet? And I'm like, no. And then like turns out I'm like weeks behind on like everything. So I was like, I spent some time on my Paladin today, just like trying to catch up. But the nice thing that they did to Twisting Corridors is that they made it so that you can do all of the stuff in 1 week rather than being time gated, because they only released like the quest line like 1 week at a time.
Tell me more. This sounds great.
Yeah, so if you like start doing the quest, you can just go through the quest in like one fell swoop. It's like pretty easy to do.
I know Twisting. So yeah, I saw they chopped that off too, and I think they also chopped it off where like if you do like layer 1, then you can do layer 2 on a different character. Like they share that as well now, which is nice.
Oh, interesting.
They even made that change because people were complaining about that because each
That's
layer
a must-need change.
Yeah,
that's so annoying.
But each layer they take a while though because it's 18 floors for this Twisting Corridor.
Yeah, but like, what do you need from the like what like? I guess my counter argument to that is like, why would you do Twisting Corridors on like more than one character? Like, I'm gonna do it on my solo character and then like never touch it again.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
Can
wondering
you
if there's.
multi-box it?
I mean, I could, but like, I have like a 205 raid geared Paladin. Like,
there's
why would I do that?
transmog in it, right? Is that
like
what it
when
is?
I swapped my priest for my shaman, I had to go drag his ass through every single layer in Torghast to get him caught up with where the team was. It was super annoying.
Well, yeah, but like the Torghast itself like rewards Soul Ash, which is needed for the legendary. So like that kind of makes sense. Like I get why you'd want to like be able to skip on alts, but like Twisting Corridors should just be transmog and like stupid rewards.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the idea of I do it once, it's unlocked, so I don't have to do it again. So it's not like a chore. Because like the thing that I feel like they've done really well with this expansion is they've made it so alt friendly, and like the catch up mechanics are just like naturally built in. So I mean, for example, I right clicked on a memory on one of my druids, and like I got the cutscene on all 5 accounts. I was like, I literally clicked one item. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
And then
they
like
share
when
those.
you
Yeah.
add a new character, and it's like, oh, renown, what's this? It keeps dropping from the mythics. Like my shaman's like renown 10 or 11. I haven't done anything on him. I've just done mythics.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah, I think 10 is like the spot at which you start unlocking a lot of things with like the Covenant Sanctum too. Like I think the 184 gear like quest line comes available at that point too. Which if you guys haven't done the Covenant quest line, like I just learned this. So like 184 I think unlocks like somewhere in the teens, but like when you do the quest line, you get different rewards for like different gear pieces, different set pieces.
Like
Well, you can
shoulders,
upgrade
legs,
those.
gloves.
Yeah, you can upgrade those as you do the campaign. So after like you get to renown 20, I think you get to like 191 or something, and you can upgrade every other piece you've gotten to also be 191 using Anima.
That's pretty effective. And now they don't
super effective.
They don't have weapons in there, do they? Because I feel like there's one thing we're missing.
No.
I feel like weapons
Don't you
starved.
get weapons at like some stupid high renown level that you can start to get 220 weapons out of it? Or am I wrong?
That would be amazing. I haven't seen anything like that.
Because I know you can get weapons, obviously, if you get the drop castle and then you go trade it in. But like, I knew about the armor upgrades, but I saw the renown requirements, and like with how my renown has been going, I was like, by the time I can upgrade this thing to mythic level, I'll probably be fully mythic 2+, 3+, or 4+ gear, right?
You should be.
So I
It's
kinda
those
didn't worry
random
about it.
slots though. Like
Yeah,
you-
exactly.
Like,
You get like a 158 belt that you can't upgrade. Go make it a 184 or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
my paladin was stuck with like a 171 belt, and I got absolutely harassed last night for having a 171 belt.
You've
What's
gotten to
your
see.
total item level?
Yeah, it's got to be good.
It's like 206, but I think I'm like equipped 204.
Wow.
I love the heroic guild giving somebody a 206 item level shit for one item. That's great.
I'm in like the most try-hard casual guild in the world. It's pretty awesome. I love it. Like they have no intention of going past heroic, but they also
act
don't.
like they're
They also don't mess
mythic raiders.
around. No,
Yeah.
they just don't mess around. Like it's like why waste time? You know.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I'd rather raid one day a week and clear heroic than raid twice a week and bash my head against mythic.
Is that what they do? Just one day a
morons.
week?
We do 2 days a week for progression, which our raid days are also Tuesday, Thursday. So like the last 2 Thursdays have been New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve, so we didn't raid. But like
Gotcha.
we're already 7 out of 10, and we've just been going at it for like 3 or 4 weeks. So
Yeah, so they'll do 2 days a week, and then once it's on farm status, they go to 1 day a week.
yeah, exactly. So
Hey,
it's like
wait,
Tuesday for 3 hours. Like it's a no-brainer.
No intention then to do like to mythic.
No, they don't. Yeah, I don't.
That's
I
really,
don't.
that's really
I don't
nice
either.
actually. It's really nice that you just like, all right, we'll cut it there, and not like bash our heads against the wall.
Yeah,
to-
the
Yeah.
last mythic guild I was in, I made our guild leader literally quit me. So I kind of stopped doing mythic. Do you guys ever do roll downs where you're like rolling for gold?
Yeah, they do all of that. They do the roll downs and they
He
do.
owed me 2.1 million, and he went in. He's like, "Let's do one more." I was like, "All right." And he's like, "I'll do double or nothing." I was like, "Okay." He lost again. He literally put some big old post on how he's burned out of the game and he's gonna take it in a different direction. Everybody's like, "Thanks for killing the gold." I'm like, "Dude, I was just rolling dice. I didn't know I was gonna kill the guild." Like,
It's hilarious.
was this in EQ or WoW?
this was in WoW.
Okay.
My last mythic guild in I think it was Warlords of Draenor. So I skipped doing mythic rating in BFA and Legion. I focused on Mythic Plus, but I was in mythic guilds for all the other expansions.
I guess I should know this. What is a roll down?
Think of it like there's a couple different ways you can do it. So you can either start with a number based off a bet, you roll it, and based off a multiplier, top roll wins. Or
Mhm.
you can do a true roll down, which you start with a really big number, and say you roll 1 to 99,000, and then say I roll a 75,000. Now you roll 1 to 75,000. We keep going. The first person to hit 1 loses, and it just keeps going all the way down, back and forth. And like
Okay.
we're talking millions of gold is what we were doing when we were doing this.
Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with like loot or when like an item drops or anything.
No, this
is
was
No.
us being bored, waiting
Okay,
for cooldowns
gotcha.
or pulls or raid strategies.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
what
like,
this
10
guild
of
does
us-
too.
Yeah, like
Okay.
10 people would start a bet. We'd all throw in 100K, winner gets it, and then everybody who enters owes that person 100K when they win.
Yikes!
And then we started getting to the millions, and then people would start backing out, and then you'd go head to head like 50-50, and it was pretty fun.
yeah. When you do the double or nothings, yeah, it gets a little risky for sure.
I could tell he might have a gambling problem with how mad he was getting. I probably should have stopped because it did kill the guild.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
that is
Yeah,
brutal.
so I understand not wanting to do Mythic Plus because it was a commitment. It felt like a second job.
Yeah, I was in a like a guild that wanted to do cutting edge the first tier, and I like kind of stepped away, kind of got asked to leave, but it was just too much of a commitment. It was like it probably would have been the same amount of rating, just more 2-day weeks. But like I don't want to try that hard on my solo character. Like I kind of want to just like show up and press buttons because the game's not
Yeah.
that hard.
This was
Yeah.
like 4 hours, 2 to 3 days a week until you get it on farm status. People screaming at you if you suck.
Yeah.
Watching lots of drama. People get cut from the roster because they can't pull a certain parse. It's crazy.
That's
So,
yeah.
Switching gears.
Huh?
Did any of you guys go to looking for loot, aka raid finder or loot finder, with your guys' box crews?
I really don't like getting harassed.
I haven't touched it for some reason this expansion. I think because the rewards are not that high at the moment. I don't know. Well, when
Yeah,
Well, they
so-
never are.
There were
Yeah.
people in my stream the other night saying that they did it and they got like 3 or 4 items, and I was like, what? Like that's a thing?
That's pretty good
So I was
though.
just curious if other people were doing it yet, because like I kind of stayed away from it because I one didn't want to deal with the mechanics, and two I
So
just didn't need the loot. Like it's only like 184, I think.
187, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like higher than Mythic Zero gear though. So for like a fresh team
yeah,
that's like eye level
it's worth
170,
it.
it's not a bad idea. I did it
Definitely
on
take
my
your new tanks in there for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did it on my paladin like when it first came out, and I ran into a bug where like the loot was sharing lockout between the raid formats. So like I did the first 3 bosses in LFR and then missed out on the heroic loot because I was already locked to the boss. It was like a
Yeah, I
bug.
remember you said that.
Yeah, it was like the worst bug ever. But
Yeah,
I
you get
actually
all
haven't
the
been in there
bad
since.
like luck. You should never gamble, or maybe do, because
I
all the
don't.
bad
Yeah,
things seem to happen to you.
the closest to gambling I get is stocks, but I'm not even really a big stock guy.
It's better just to let it float. Don't look at it.
Yeah,
If you
just
can
put the
do
money
that.
there.
Yeah.
Divorce yourself and
Especially
get
these
away
days,
from it.
man. Those like 5% swings every day.
Yeah,
It's like
it's too
bananas.
stressful otherwise. So I guess if you do LFR though, I'm not sure. Does it give you the Great Vault reward at the end? I don't think it does.
It does.
I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say I think somebody confirm it does.
Yeah.
it's
So
just
you have to kill
187
like
though,
3
right?
bosses.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if you
it's
do like
3
if you do one
bosses.
wing, then you get it. But if it's just 187 gear, it's not that bad. But if it gave like a 200 piece, I could definitely see jumping in
I
on
mean, let's be real. Last week on Tyrannical, if you couldn't kill a 2+ with your Trinity like this schmuck, I probably should have done a raid finder with 3
that.
to at least get one free 187.
The Tyrannical is a big deal, adding that much hit points
Dude,
on
I
bosses.
had just such bad keys. The one key that I should have done, but I was just getting irritated, was Sanguine Depths. I can do that with my Trinity. I've done it before.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And
Yeah.
I just wiped a couple times, and like it was late in the week. I was over it. I went and played a different team because like my druids, I blew through a 2+ and a 3+, like no problem. I
Yeah.
actually managed to get a 4+ not on the timer, so I was like good to go for the week.
Oh man. Yeah.
And so I kind of was like, why am I doing this? I should just go level my prop pallies, and then I'll let the Trinity maybe become the 3rd team while I get them geared up, and then once they're geared up again, I'll go. But I'm not giving up on them quite yet. So I went back to farming memories, and I basically spent 2 nights and still have no memories on the hunters.
Oh,
That sucks.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, at least the druids are doing good. Though I've kind of I know lean the same way where I'm kind of like not dwindling, but I'm consolidating my teams. I was spreading myself also too thin, where I was just doing basically a +2 on
Yep.
each team, and then I'm getting a piece of loot at the end of the week, but I'm not pushing these teams at all or like trying to see what they can do. And I need to take the best 2 teams, I think, and just roll with that. And go from there, and not squeeze it so much.
I think it'll get easier once like +2s and +3s are a little bit easier though. And Tyrannical's kind of a hard week, but I don't know, because I do agree that you should pick a team and push with it. And it stinks because like I don't have a push team right now in my arsenal. So like that's gonna be my focus, is just getting a push team together.
I feel
So
bad.
I
I wish
already
you.
did a 4+ this week with the druids. So
That's
like this
awesome.
week is the week to push.
Yeah, for sure.
I
And Sanguine's not too bad, at least not in like HOA, I imagine.
wish
Yeah,
you
it's
could.
really easy to avoid.
I wish Zoc that you could somehow combine like your raiding character with your team. You know, like that's a little bit of a bummer. That you like if you could take that paladin you have that's geared, you know, and then use it as your tank or something for your Trinity comp would be massive.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I could technically do that. I used to use this paladin with my DKs, and it actually used to be part of my Trinity comp. Back when I used a Holy Paladin healer.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's potential there, but
I'm not trying to push you away from Alliance, but I mean,
no,
like,
you're fine. I like to keep them separate though.
You
I don't
keep
know
pushing
why.
them away from Alliance. The Horde thanks you.
but I mean that's a lot of successful multi-boxers back in the day. I mean, or I can't remember the guy's name. He was an Australian from in Legion, but he had a druid that he did mythic raiding with, and that was his tank. And
I think for Mythic it would make more sense.
yeah,
I could see that being a little bit more powerful, because it's like another 13 item levels for
Oh
mythic
yeah,
gear.
and the hardest thing too is that your tank is taking way less damage. So that's what ended up happening. Like he was just super geared because his tank was already like geared out to the teeth.
I mean, that's
It
kind of what I'm
compensated.
doing already. Even like I'll go pug as a tank, my paladin, random heroic kills late in the week and whatever. And like
Yeah.
last week, I got 3 kills in Castle Nethria, so I got a 213 piece.
Oh man,
So
yeah, you're
I'm
doing
doing that
amazing
to
then.
try to get my paladin up. But I think my real problem right now is I don't know if it's my hunters need better weapons, or if I just need to suck less, or if I need to switch the hunters to shamans. Because I'm noticing my teams where I'm using hybrids like druids or shamans, that they have the ability to do more than like a 1 or 2 minute cooldown self heal. Like they can actually heal. I'm doing better with that combo than a true trinity. It's like I either suck so bad or my gear is so bad that a solo healer multi-boxing is not keeping up with the damage. And so if I burn my cooldowns and I kill the boss, great. But if I don't kill the boss, I dwindle quickly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I would say with that comp, you'd want to stick probably the hunters are way better than shamans in terms of like consistent and on the move DPS. That's why the paladin comes into play, where I basically I just off heal a ton. So it's
That's
almost like
exactly what I'm doing. I'm
yeah,
off
it's like
healing
a
with my
healer and a
paladin
half
all the
essentially.
time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
even then, like the Trinity comp is one of the comps that I'm kind of like letting, kind of sit on the bench for a little bit. I think instead I'm just gonna go with druids and shamans. Even in shamans, they're good, but they're the team I want. They're my favorite team, but I think the druids are still way stronger at the moment. So
Yeah, I got my druids, their legendaries last night.
which one
And
did you get?
the balance of all things or whatever.
It
The
makes
higher
such a
DPS one.
massive difference in damage.
Oh,
Oh
it's
my gosh,
huge.
I don't know
I'm
why.
doing like
Yeah.
2K without cooldowns. Just
Yep.
doing
No,
my normal DPS
and
rotation.
when you pop the cooldowns now too, though, like I noticed a massive
Dude.
difference where you just blow up the boss.
Like 5, 6, 7K DPS
Yeah.
depending on the boss.
Yep.
And then I happened to get a memory for my tank druid from Castle Nethria.
Mhm.
That's the one where when I pop bark skin, I get the iron bar or iron fur and the regen.
Oh, I
when
need to
it
get that.
fades and comes.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like that's a full on heal by itself.
So it pops it when you cast it and then when it fades, right?
Yeah.
So it does two of them essentially.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I gotta craft that. I gotta go do an LFR then I think and grab it.
That was my next question and why I kind of jumped into LFR. I was like, have we confirmed do memories drop in LFR?
They do, yeah, they do. They should be a high drop rate too. I think the only place they're not 100% is in Torghast. Other everywhere else, and I guess I'm maybe on Mythic.
I think they're
Dungeons,
100% in Torghast too.
too. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're not in Mythic like in dungeons, but I think in
Torghast
raids.
seems 100% once you have the
Yeah.
quest line in the right spot.
Yeah, and world bosses too are 100% as well for sure.
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah.
100% as well. But I can
So-
tell you, heroic and mythic is definitely not because I've done mist and plaguefall probably 5 times each trying to get the hunter, maybe 10
Yeah,
times.
it's increased on Mythic, but like the drop chance is increased on Mythic, but it's not 100% by any stretch of the imagination.
So
Yeah.
so as far as LFR goes, I think that's something we can I guess kind of like moving into the multi-boxing rating. That's something we can also like kind of start squeezing in and doing them as fun as well. Because
Yeah, queue up as an LFR as a multi-box crew.
Yeah, because we only take
You
we need
can.
five.
You would just need a full group.
Yeah, we just need like 5
If you got
people or so.
randos, it wouldn't be fun.
But
Yeah.
the benefit there though is that every time you wipe though you get a buff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean if you're okay with wiping a couple of times, you literally I
I
don't
don't care.
I don't know what it goes up to, but it's a pretty
I
significant.
think you can get 25% if you
Yeah.
wipe 5 times.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's really high. I mean, 25% more damage and healing, and I think even health and stats or something. It's just
At that point, you can
Yeah.
convoke anything.
yeah, you just burn it down, right? So I mean, it ends up being you can still accomplish things as the multi-boxing group, so it's fun because I did that for the previous expansion in BFA. I did that once.
What are those stupid isles called?
Uh,
Wasn't the isles? We did the raids for the Sylvanas thing. Whatever that place was
Sylvanas.
called.
the
Yeah, well, Horde fought Sylvanas. I don't know.
oh, Battle of
I feel like
Dazzlear.
Sylvanas.
Dazzle.
Yeah.
Oh, Battle for Azul, where they had the
Hmm.
different boss lines depending on which faction you were.
I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know what the heck I'm thinking of. I can't remember the name of it.
But either way though, it's a nice multi-boxing option. Like as long as we can field 5 multi-boxers or so in that group.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
actually thinking of making prop pallies on your server. So when you do that, I can just show up with 5
Yeah,
paladins,
yeah.
whether they're
Yeah, because you really don't need crazy gear for it
red
either.
or prot, right?
So I guess that
I think
kind
it's a good idea.
that transitions into the time walking recap that we did.
Yeah, that
So
was
good.
a fun experience
It
for me.
was.
I was so excited. Like I rated so hard with you guys.
I thought the beginning was gonna be a no show kind of deal with the Flame Leviathan. You know that was not
Yeah.
that was not multi-boxing
I knew
friendly
that
at all.
I knew that fight was going to be brutal. I was
Yeah.
like, man, if we get past Flame Leviathan though, I bet the rest will be smooth
Oh yeah.
sailing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as soon as we finally got past that, then it was just basically loot pinata the rest of the way.
Like literally, some of the kills I watched in the loot feed, you got like 5 pieces on 5 characters.
You know, it was. I think one of my I got like 4 out of 5. Yeah, it was really good on there. But so they did make some changes. Blizzard did, where they nerfed how much loot you get from time walking now.
But it's still eye level 200.
Yeah, it's still at level 200. Yeah,
it's huge.
So I think they when I heard it was just somebody made a comment and then maybe there's a more accurate thing, but they said it was a 20% nerf. So it's not horribly bad, but it's a little bit lower.
So instead of Nethri a normal item level 200 as well.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah,
it's the same item level.
Okay, I see why they're nerfing it.
Yeah, they wanted to be
sense.
more in line with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So with that,
yeah, because I was getting like a piece of loot for every boss on at least one character.
Oh yeah, if you're 5-boxing, you were getting a piece of loot almost guaranteed, if not two or 3 pieces on there. And again, like one of them I got 4.
Loot was dropping like crazy. It was like 8 to 10 items per kill. It seemed like.
Yeah, depending on how many we had. Yeah, it was pretty nice. So obviously it's going to be a little bit lower, but even then it was still big upgrades. I mean, it made a big difference on there. So with that,
and you didn't even have to be level 60 to get the rewards. Like my hunter team was 50 at the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was huge too. We had so many people join in. They're like, I don't have a 60 gear. It's like it's okay. It's fine.
It's like, dude, it's time walking. It's gonna
Yeah.
normalize your gear and item level. You'll be fine. You're gonna be item level 35.
And then
make sure your druid have convoke.
Yeah, we had druids that didn't have convoke, but they were still doing crazy DPS because they had the Azerite.
Oh yeah,
pieces.
all the Azerite talents. That's what to say. If you don't have convoke, you're worthless unless you have the Azerite talents.
All these other extra pieces.
Tons of damage.
Oh yeah, it was great. So in 2 weeks we got Firelands coming up.
I love Firelands.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
super
definitely
excited
play
for that.
Firelands with you guys. That was one of my favorite raids of all time.
I've only done it as a farm, so it'll be exciting to actually do it as like somewhat of a difficult content.
Like that was probably right around the time I stopped streaming back in the day. I have videos of every kill at current content, heroic as a 4 shaman team in like a 10-man raid.
No,
like
that's
on my
awesome.
YouTube channel, those were like my most viewed videos.
That's awesome. So to kind of recap on that, a recap. Time walking was super fun. If you want to join in, this is on Alliance. I know that's terrible, but we had a good time and everybody's welcome. We actually
and US.
Yeah, and
that's
US. Sorry, yeah.
Too.
But we I think does Oceanic come in with that too? Can we squeeze them in there or no? Are they bound?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Oceanic.
They can do it, but I've noticed a lot of people in like Raid Finder or Group Finder was what it really is. Like when I'm trying to pug a Mythic Plus on like a random character,
yeah,
they'll do Oceania servers only or like OCE.
Just for the lag.
I guess they get crazy lag if they end up on one of our servers.
Oh, gotcha. That would make sense. Yeah.
I think it goes to the party members though. So like their concern is less about their own latency and more about you joining their group and having bad latency.
That could be yeah.
Yeah, it's basically some form of latency. I went and I looked into it on the forums because like I kept getting denied on these groups. I'm like, once I realized what it like OC only meant, I was like, oh, Ocean, got it. I'll stop applying for those groups.
Yeah, so we'll do it again in 2 weeks. We filled up our group, I think, almost completely this last run.
Yeah, I think you had a full raid towards the end when you were doing Freya and stuff.
We were definitely close.
Yeah,
we had like 26.
If somebody really wants to join, though, we'll make room. I mean, it's not a big deal to squeeze some people in there in the future. So that was cool.
Yeah, it's like raiding with your streaming community is always fun because I get to interact with you more.
Yeah. All right, Zach, you want to go with the next one? I don't mean to dominate your list that you've made.
No, you're fine. It's not. You guys aren't dominating anything. You're going right along with the list. It's better than you guys like kind of just randomly talking about the thing that's at the very end of the list.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I just skipped like half of this.
Oh, we can do that. Don't worry.
So it's a Mythic Plus push week, as we've kind of touched on a little bit, and the affixes are Fortified, Sanguine, Quaking, which if this was like, if we were actually pushing 7 keys,
This is
would
not
be
a push
terrible.
week.
This would be a terrible week. But since no one's getting to 7 this week, although I guess potentially you could,
if you had some
with
really
your
good
druids,
keys,
maybe.
yeah.
I could see you getting to 7 this week.
I think
maybe
we could kill a 7, but not within the timer.
not with Quaking. Yeah,
No.
with Quaking it would be like a total. Yeah, it
Oh
sounds
yeah,
awful.
yeah. Any of those combos sound brutal.
I'm honestly happy if I hit a 4 or 5 this week on the druids, and then I'll just try to get 2 pluses in on the Trinity team, and like it is what it is right now.
That is good to strive for, because I've only done a +2. I mean, it's the beginning of, technically it's the beginning of this week, but I've only done a +2 on my 2 teams. I tried to do as even testing as possible last week and this week, where I did a Halls of Atonement +2. Last week was Tyrannical, and this week was Fortified. And the Druids were able to +3 it barely, but they +3'd it. The Paladins were 5 minutes behind the +3 timer, so they +2'd it. And the Shamans missed the timer by, I want to say, for a +3 by about 30 seconds or so.
So you +2'd instead of plus. So you should be doing +4 on like all your teams basically then.
They can probably handle that now, yeah. But it basically, I was trying to be as close as possible to compare on there, and it seems like the Druids are extremely strong. And I did that +3 before I even got the legendary items that I have now on them. And
I wish I got Halls of Atonement as a key last week, because I know I would have done that one no problem on Tyrannical with the Trinity con.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind your end of the week rewards don't scale beyond +4. So unless you get to 7, you're getting the same reward at the end of the week. So
yeah, that's why I'm just like, hit a 2, hit a 4, don't care. Anything other than that's just like personal ego thing.
But there's a hold on. Did they change it or something? Because I looked at it again. I'm trying to find the eye level on that.
I don't know. I think 4 through 6 have always been the same rewards.
He's saying you'll get better loot doing a +4, right? Sorry, a 4, right? But if you do a 5, it's not going to be like drastic.
Your end of the week reward's not going to be any better. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get your next hop until 7.
Where is the reward? I'm trying to find it while we. Oh,
yeah.
Here it is. Okay, I got it. So a 4
you get better loot for the run, right?
Yeah. You're so a 4 is a 207, a 5 is a 210, a 6 is a 210, and then a 7 is a 213.
Yeah.
For end of week or for run?
For end of week.
So
okay.
A 5 is the.
5 is what you should push for then, if you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Because 7, you're also introducing that second affix, or maybe that you can consider
5
a third
and 6
affix.
will probably be the sweet spot for most people for a while.
Because even then,
that
though,
third affix can really change the whole dynamic.
But even then, if you're doing a 5 or a 6 and you're getting that end of week, 210 is pretty close to
you're getting heroic raid gear basically.
Yeah. And to catapult off on that, it's really tough, and I've done some arenas now, and the arena scene is terrible because everybody is super geared in it now, even if they're completely trash on there.
Oh yeah,
on the rating.
Breathers have 220 gear.
But if you get 1400 rating, right, you get a 207 item at the end in your Great Vault, okay, and you can spend your conquest points, and you can purchase anything as at eye level 200, and you can upgrade that to a 207.
Yeah,
just at 1400 rating.
Weapons,
just at 1400. And if you actually make it past 1600 rating, then you're getting a 213 piece in the vault, and you can upgrade your items to 213 as well. I mean, so if somebody was able to successfully just grind up their characters that way, I mean, you would be able to target the pieces that you needed and get geared out really fast. And that's been the strongest thing.
You can even cheese item level through honor to 158, upgrade it to 171 if you just need those last couple of slots to be able to do Dungeon Finder for heroic.
Yeah, and you can push those even higher than 171.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a quick path. Right?
Oh yeah. And so that's what I've been starved with trying to work on my shaman team, is that they don't have weapons. Like I'm playing an elemental, but for PvP really you kind of want enhancement. And I need agility trinkets, and I need agility weapons, and it's pretty hard to grab because you need 2 on each character, so it's been a little tough.
Basically, last week I took all of my extra honor random battlegrounds, and I bought the PvP trinkets, so I have the 2, so I get the double versatility. That helped a lot. My durability went up, but yeah, I'm still facing people that are in raid gear. It sucks.
So yeah.
With that, do we want to transfer to talk? So we're at the half-hour mark. Do we want to start talking about the 2 dungeons of the week?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
We're doing really
All
good on
right.
time
Place
this
to
week.
go.
So I did both of these this week. I tried to do both of them on my 4 hunters and 1 shaman on heroic, and I didn't complete either of them. That team they're just leave something to be desired. I don't know. I don't enjoy it, so I'm like moving away from it. But
No.
yeah, I know. I think you like this team more than I do.
I think
He wants
so.
to play vicariously through you.
I do.
I
I
know.
do.
So Plaguefall is. I hate this dungeon. This is like probably my least favorite dungeon of the expansion.
Yeah.
I really hate poison and I really hate AoE dots. So this is just like my worst nightmare in a dungeon form.
Yeah, it's a easy dungeon, and then you go do it on Mythic, and then now the last boss becomes one of the hardest in the expansion.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's just the trash. Like I actually just hate the trash in this dungeon, and I don't think it's like that hard. I just really hate the dungeon, just like everything about it.
Yeah, it's got annoying affixes. Like before the spider boss, the third boss, you have like that thing that makes the big old shield that protects everything.
Yeah.
Stun and knock them back and stuff.
And then like one of them spawning a bunch of like hidden little mini spiders
guys that jump on you.
Yeah, and you're like oh, and it gets.
They all jump on your healer. Your healer just instantly dies. Yeah, it's great. It's very very
fun and interactive.
Fun and interactive.
So for the first boss then, right? Like, is there a way to easily dodge? Like, does everybody gets hit by his stomp though, right? Or there's not, or no?
There's a range.
Yes, there's a range.
Okay. And then
I usually just kind of stay close though.
So like if this is the boss, this is what I was trying to explain to you in Discord, and I was like, answer Discord. I put my tank here, so like this is the boss where my hand is. I'm in front of it. I put my party right to the side.
Okay.
So when they stomp, they bounce back, but I come back. But when the boss turns to like puke at them, I just strafe to the side.
Okay, you just strafe them. Okay, gotcha. That's the issue
if
when
you
you're
do
super
that,
far away.
You won't get hit. Yeah. You'll get hit by the stomp, which makes you a little slower. But that puking breath, like he's easy, like literally sidestep out of it.
So
I feel like that's a free kill.
Have you done him on a different team where you actually have to do like mechanics where you have to like kill all the ads though and do a couple phases? Because that's
coming from the guy that cleared all the mythic dungeons on week 1 with Convoke.
Hey, that was legit.
I'm telling you,
there was a
that's
lot of skill there.
Trinity comp where I do what I just told you.
Yeah.
I just strafe and I still kill them before I have to kill the ads.
Okay, I gotcha.
The ads aren't hard to kill though. The ads die pretty quickly. Like it's not really a challenging mechanic to the fight at all.
So when I swapped the priest for a shaman that first week, I was able to do I think 6 out of 8 mythic zeros.
Oh, that's huge.
I didn't even try Spires of Ascension because I just didn't. I ran out of time and it's like my least favorite dungeon. Yeah. But the other one that I couldn't put the complete flag on was stupid Plaguefall. That last chick Margrave on Mythic, she's hard.
We will get to her.
Yeah. Actually, so the second boss is really hard too. I struggled on this guy on Tyrannical.
It's hard because I have killed this boss on Mythic on my Shadow Priest. So the trick to this boss is just prioritizing the ads, right? So the ads like reduce the boss's damage taken. They reduce the like globule that's exploding damage taken. So you just like you kill the ads. Like that's just pretty much all there is to it.
So he makes a purple goopy thing, right?
Yep.
And then
that explodes, right?
No. The purple goopy thing is the thing that like reduces all damage by like 75%.
Oh yeah, the little guys.
Yeah, and then he also has a canister.
Kill explosion, kill boss.
But it felt like it was too much though, because like let's say the boss had like 600,000 hit points, right? Well, the goopy thing had like 75,000, and then the canister had like 80,000. So you had to pump like 150,000 damage like each time he jumps to a new location, like it.
And you have to do like 4 jumps. It's rough.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like when he's there, he does jumps around and that do like these like blow up like spread AOE.
Yeah, that was the one thing I noticed that I was like really having trouble with is the jumps around.
These are the types of fights I'm talking about where like if I can burst it down quickly, it's not a problem. But once I can probably handle 2, maybe 3 waves of the Dr. Icarus or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
But once all of your cooldowns are gone, that just the jumping phase alone is so much damage. I have people die to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I mean, with that one, it was like it didn't seem like a bad fight when I could burst it down. But then I was like, okay, you had to do mechanics on this one. I was like, this fight is excessively hard for.
So this is a really
for a
bad
second
dungeon
boss,
on
yeah.
Tyrannical for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even
'Cause
then,
each of the-
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say each of these fights, like we'll get into Domino in a second, but like each of these fights gets like exponentially worse when
The longer
like,
they
fight,
go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And Domino, I didn't actually not complete this on heroic on my hunters because of Margrave. I actually couldn't beat Domino because
the poison damage and spiders are racking up on you.
Exactly. And I tried to do move 2 with my pet, but that totally just like every time I tried to implement that, it just totally turned into like a mess. Like
Yeah.
I was better off just like burning down the boss, and I had like 2 wipes with Bloodlust where I wiped it like 5%, and I was like,
Ugh.
you know what, I just don't have the gear
Yeah.
to ignore the mechanics, so I guess I'm just done.
I've never actually done that fight completely by doing the entire mechanics where you're supposed to like uncover every single web
It's
spot.
not super hard.
Yeah. Did you have like somebody with a movement speed just go and grab them all and then kill them all? Or what?
Yeah, I mean, so once they're out. So you can like use a Vengeance Demon Hunter to just jump around
Okay.
and grab them all and pull them out. So you just have to expose them, and then
So-
once you expose them, you then blow them up.
On
They
top
don't
of
have
trying
much
to,
health.
If you're using tar trap flares, they pop out pretty quick.
yeah. So
Does that work?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You can
Okay,
you can
well,
use
that's
the
what I
flare
would
on
do
that.
then.
That's super nice. But on top of that though, try and do that mechanic. There's also a mechanic where you need to stay next to each other and then also spread away from each other too.
Yeah. It's a lot of movement on that fight. It's actually a surprisingly difficult fight if you're able to burst it down, it's super easy.
Oh yeah.
What's
yeah.
the stay together mechanic for us people who haven't stayed together?
The stay together mechanic?
Yeah.
Oh, on that-
They get web wrapped if you're not.
Yeah, it's like
range.
essentially it's like a 6 or 8 second stun for your entire group or whoever's not next to somebody else.
Oh.
You had to be like within 6 yards or something of somebody else or 10 yards.
So, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. What I've done is I just stand in my star formation, right? Well, I stand close together, and then once the so and so is gonna get jumped on for the AOE stun, I hit my like little stun formation thing, let it hit, and then I go back together. I didn't realize that. I thought the web wrap was from getting hit on Mythic. I didn't realize it was. I was just doing a mechanic, not realizing it. I guess.
So with all that though, it's made it tough, and that's like why I'm kind of like shuffling here. But thinking about the Druid comp in general, is that like on some of these bosses now, like my burst window before like I lose all my burst, like with my like 15 or 20 second window, the boss is already under 20% health. Like on a lot of these things, even like on like a +2 key, like it just. I did a mist yesterday just as a test on this, right? And the mist color boss, the second boss in there.
Oh, dude, you can push her to 2 guessing games off just Convoke.
So basically that's what happened was I popped all the cooldowns and she went down to 20% health and she did the guessing game twice and caused me to wipe because I couldn't tell what I was supposed to do because there was 2 guessing games going on at the same time. On there.
Really?
I had literally the same thing happen to me when I was streaming it, I want to say Tuesday night.
That's brutal.
It's terrible because you have no idea what because it just flickers. It's because it's 2 of them on top of each other.
Yeah, you go laser beams, and all of a sudden she's like, "I counter your laser beams with a puzzle that's hard to solve," and you're just like,
So I guessed on one of them. I was like, well, I have to blow up something. So I blew up one of them. It was the wrong choice, and then and also you're getting hit by twice as many of the just the passive AOE bursting things.
Yeah,
I just wiped.
When that happened to me on the one wipe that I actually had, I got lucky that Starfall killed the right one, and then I was able to pick the second one.
Oh, nice.
And I might have it recorded. I'll have to go look in the videos. I had the freeze tag guy like running at my guys, and I was like frantically strafing, trying to kill it. And I went up on the side, like where it's kind of a little hilly, and I was hitting buttons, and I think I caught him with either the Feral Disorient or one of the Typhoons. Because he like stopped and looked at my team and looked the other way, and he died. He didn't freeze him. If he would have frozen him, I would have been a wipe. But then I got frozen. I literally was at maybe 1%, and I got hit by a freeze tag as the solo tank trying to finish him off. And then like her auto attack was going to kill me, but the Moonkin dots killed her. That's the only reason why I killed it. Like I was frozen, getting meleeed by her, and then she fell over to the dots that were still on her.
Game over.
I was like, that is probably as close as I could have got to not wiping.
That feels good though. But so
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
So just to wrap up that kind of like tangent thought there is that the druids, they I don't know, I'm thinking about this plague fall in general, and we'll be able to do keys on it as long as you can burst the boss down, right? Like it's basically
Yeah.
it's coming down to in a lot of these bosses. Now, no, the last one though, the Margrave, you can't really burn this one down. You're gonna have to do mechanics, and
Yeah.
and that's
The
where
dance is so much harder on Mythic than
Yes.
Heroic or Normal.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
actually is harder. Like it spawns faster, it like lands quicker, and also like when you're
And
doing
you're
it,
killing ads doing it.
yes,
yeah, and you're like looking at it, and it, like you look at it, you feel like you're safe, but you're not safe.
you have
like,
to overcompensate.
I've had that happen
yeah.
so many times where I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm safe right here, and then it's like, no, I was off by like a centimeter on my screen. So
Yeah,
like,
you want to stand on the seams so you can go either way, but then it'll light up the other section that doesn't light up on the lower difficulties that you're not used to, and like what's normally safe is now you're dead on everybody.
yeah, no, like you pretty much have to be really close to wherever it starts.
Yeah, you got to find the seams.
And then you have to move in. Right, exactly. You find out where it starts, and then you like immediately go there, but then don't get too close. So that can be like a challenge moving characters, which I didn't think it would be. Like I was like, oh yeah, this will be like pretty easy. It's just like moving your team around. But I found that it was like you have to be pretty precise. It was pretty frustrating.
I was able to kill it with the druids just because each druid has the sprint and bear form thing, so I could correct positioning pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I probably wiped 8 to 10 times on Mythic 0, maybe even 12 times on my Trinity comp before I just like, yeah, I'm done with this.
The ad is like kind of hard to manage too because you've got to move your tank to it, and then because it does that like pound down thing where it like does exploding damage if you don't have your tank soak it. But then like the dance is gonna come like right after that, so you have to then like quickly adjust out of that.
Yeah.
I was either dying to getting slapped during the dance, or some random thing was killing my healer, and it was just like a ripple effect downhill. I almost soloed it with my pally on one of my attempts, but I was like, I'm sick of my Trinity comp being get it as low as possible so your paladin can clean it up.
Yeah, just did exactly at the end there. Apparently at high keys, the rain, the infectious rain that she drops, I mean, it's unavoidable.
Yeah, that thing's nasty on just a 2+, man.
Yeah, it's unavoidable damage, and apparently at high keys, like it shreds teams. Like it's the.
I can only imagine on Tyrannical what that's like. Like this is definitely not a dungeon I would like want to go in on Tyrannical.
Yeah, on Tyrannical I didn't even bother. I had it as 2 of my people had it as a key. I'm like, well, those are dead keys this week.
Yeah, I'm surprised this dungeon's so difficult because it's one of the, if you think about it, right, there's 4 starter zones and then there's 4 like level 60 max level zones.
Yeah.
And you'd assume the 4
This is
starter
one of the
zones,
starters.
yeah, it should be easier. And this one is definitely not, especially for us. So I'm going to give the Plague Fall the thumbs down.
Yeah,
But it's not even like a fun.
list.
It's not even a fun difficult.
No,
you
yeah,
know,
like
D tier on the tier
exactly.
list.
Like you said,
don't do
that
it. It's a dud.
the trash on here is super annoying too. Like the gauntlet area where you have to dodge those 2 like
Oh,
dudes
you're
that
doing that
explode.
wrong. You don't even do that. You just skip them.
You're supposed to go around the side, yeah.
Yeah, go
Yeah, you
right.
go around
Don't
the
go
side.
left.
But I mean, but even then, you have to deal with the tentacle things that spawn, and then you have to like time it. You know.
That part's like the least annoying part of the trash. The most annoying trash is the trash leading up to the first boss. Like you enter the dungeon and
The
it just
little mushroom guy.
yeah, it just immediately sets the stage for like how garbage of an
You're
experience.
like, all right, so we can go with that one then, and we can go with one that the dungeon we're gonna talk about now, the other side, was
Yeah, it's
actually
fun.
expected. This was supposed to be the dungeon that was going to be the Siege of Bralis, which is surprising because it's actually not.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
with some optimization, this could be like technically one of the better dungeons for us. It's still not easy, but it's doable though, which is nice. There's no showstoppers.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like the last boss, I think once we figure that out, I think this is going to be a pretty easy dungeon.
Yeah.
So Hakar and hierarchies is hard. Tyrannical.
He's hard if you're under tiered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
As long
the
as you can
shield's
drop,
actually pretty high.
yeah, if you can drop those
Yeah.
ads, you're okay.
So when I streamed it, I don't know if you guys watched. I made a macro that just targets son of, and I just mashed that in my rotation, and I put my pally close to his ramp, and I'm killing them. So like they're as soon as they spawn, I'm killing them. That helped a ton.
So
my Trinity comp killed him on a 2+.
So when I did this on my Shadow Priest team, like when I first got, not first got them, but they were like, I was just starting to do Mythic Zeros. I actually had a ton of trouble with Hakar, and it wasn't the ads. Like my Shadow Priest like blew up the ads, no problem. It's just like a pure like survivability. Like this boss has like a ton of shields. There's like a ton of movement. Like it's overall just like a very demanding fight, and definitely like is a scale problem more than anything else. Like if you outgear this dungeon, this is like like this fight's a no problem,
Yeah.
and like the other two fights are kind of easy.
Yeah, the fight Hakar for sure is one of those things where it's like almost like a DPS check though, right? Because if you can't handle it, it overwhelms you and you're never going to beat it on there. Like you can't just get better mechanics for it. I don't think you have to have solid DPS even while moving.
Yeah, Hakar has the potential to kind of be a gatekeeper.
Yeah, which is nice, right?
I'm curious though. I feel like I'm just doing it wrong. I feel like there's some optimizations.
I don't know.
So,
I
don't know.
I have
you have
I
to
have
stay
read though.
spread, and then you gotta like dance out of the stuff that splashes because it hits the suns or you. It makes his shield
Yeah.
go up.
Yeah.
So I just was like killing the suns as fast as possible. I kind of spread out in like a giant box, and I put the paladin up at the ramp. I kill them as soon as they spawn, and during dancing, I just strafe side to side and hope I like reduce the shield some.
Yeah.
And then on the kill that I actually killed it, I just popped Lust and I held down DPS as hard as I could on him, and I just let the shield be what it was, and I killed it.
It kind of stinks though because you can't just ignore mechanics and kill it, because if you ignore mechanics, then like he gets the shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
The suns being able to get hit is kind of like a giant middle finger. It's like, oh, you want to burst him? That's cute. Watch this. All these ads are gonna do the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
So overall, if you can, I think he's the first boss you typically do if you take a right when you come into the zone. If you can do him, then the whole zone is doable, which is nice.
The mana storms can be hard too.
They are, and I'm still trying to figure out like a good strat for the mana storms as well.
So
I think they're actually really easy.
The dude is easy, and you stand in his beams, you get the damage buff.
Yes.
But if you're under geared, I don't know about you. I can only get 1 out of 2 of her bombs when she sets them off.
So I read a strat. I haven't actually done it yet, but you're supposed to take your camera as a tank and go completely helicopter view looking down on her, and all you do is just spam right click and you won't miss it. Apparently, like you can click them before they even show up.
Oh, you're saying as they come out of the model, you're already getting them both?
You're already clicking on me, yeah.
That's borderline exploiting.
See, I just play a demon hunter, so it's like a non-issue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Paladins have the divine steed thing, but I guess it has a cooldown, so maybe it wouldn't be that.
I can only click 1, and if you're under geared, like my Trinity, the first time I tried it, it would explode, and it was causing so much damage that eventually people were starting to fall over.
When I do this key on my solo paladin, I usually just get them both, and I haven't had too much of a problem with it. So that's interesting that you have that problem. It could just be a matter of circumstance, though.
Yeah, I started just to kind of pile my team at far range and trying to see if the damage got smaller the further away I was, and then I just focus on getting one that comes out of my pally every time, and I killed it, and it seemed more manageable that time.
Yeah, but this is one interesting thing about this fight is you actually need a ton of burst at the end of the fight too.
Yep.
Because like you can kind of afford to take some damage from a bomb or two here and there. It's like not super bad. You just can't have 2 of them go off at the same time. But at the end, like she has like a soft enrage where like once she hits like 10 or 15% health, she just like goes off to the corner and starts spamming rockets at everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
that only lasts like a second or two because kill shot's going off and she dies quick.
Yeah, I guess for like the Trinity it works really well for that, but like that's like when with my Shadow Priest I like had no cooldowns going into that, and I was like,
I feel like they should fix that, by the way, for Shadow Priest. I don't know, maybe I notice it more, but I feel like the execute that Shadow Priest get should not do damage if you're doing it under 20% health. Like it shouldn't hurt you with the process.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it, but I tend to agree with you as somebody trying to make Shadow Priest work.
Yeah. Like I noticed that too, like because sometimes you can get like a pretty strong crit, and then all of a sudden your character drops half his health. You're like, oh my god, like, you know.
It scales a little bit better at max level, but yeah, it's like there's rockets going off doing a ton of damage. You only get like 1 cast of it because it has a pretty long cooldown.
That's true.
And you're not going to like
you kind of want to use it though. Yeah, you kind of want to use it when you hit 20% though, right? You don't like.
Yeah, I mean this would be like a good usage for like Surrender to Madness or.
Yeah. This is a madness fight. You pop that and go
for
hard.
Sure.
So would you guys say then on this fight probably save your cooldowns in the first phase and inch below them on the second phase?
If you stand in Millhouse's beams, you get a decent enough damage buff going that I don't think you need the cooldown. So then you can pop them hard on the.
Do those beams give you more damage too, as well as hurt you? Are they doing both
Yeah.
then? Okay, I got you.
So they channel. If he gets hit by them, he starts doing more damage. If you get hit by them, you get a small damage buff. It's like 2%, but it stacks.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I think you can get like a couple percentage points per character that soaks it.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I don't think this fight's super bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I've wiped to it a couple times on Trinity comp or even the Shaman comp, I think. But yeah, it's totally doable. It's definitely
You
within
can
our.
kind of just plant your team too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's
Which
within
is
it's within the
almost unheard of.
multiboxing like doability scale, I guess. It's
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can kill Hakar, then go try to do the Mana Storms.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trash to the Mana Storms is super annoying though.
Yes,
It's like
is.
it's like flashbacks to Workshop, which I ended up liking Workshop once I was able to figure it out. And that might change for the Mana Storm trash, but like the Mana Storm trash is really annoying.
Did you see that little tidbit tip? I haven't actually used it, but if you're an engineer, and hypothetically as a multiboxer, you probably should be an engineering for lootering anyways. The slime trails, like the 3 slimes that keep going across, you have to like kind of skip or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a button.
Frogger
There's a
part.
button in that room. You just push the button. If you're an engineer, it turns it off.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Right when you walk
I've
in the
been
room.
using my hunters to kill them to create a bigger gap. And then
Yeah,
run
no,
through it.
I've done some crazy stuff too. But I was reading this Mythic Plus strats thing, like where people are like, "Oh, these are like little tidbits that you can do." And apparently, because a lot of people aren't engineers, for groups, because it's not as common because they're not relying on
Yeah.
looter rings. So when you walk into the room on the left, there's a button, and you can push it. If you're an engineer, it'll turn off the whole
What the hell?
the whole mechanic will turn off.
I gotta go validate that. That's I feel so dumb for not knowing that.
I haven't used it yet.
I don't think
which
it's
is
that bad to skip though. I kind of like Frogger mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm crazy though.
Just on Mythic Plus though, it's just so time consuming. Like
Yeah,
how they treat it,
yeah.
It's
like
about beating that timer.
yeah.
Well, this dungeon, like I know they nerfed the timer on it, but it's still pretty tight.
Yeah. The
Like-
dealer fight used to I don't know, it's like you gotta go to the trash. They added the thing at the end, but some of them don't have the little portals at the end. You gotta run back, and it's like you're killing time. It's really tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but getting into dealer, I don't know. When I boxed this, it wasn't that bad, but I feel like if there was like a fight in here that was like potentially mechanically difficult, this would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
seemed like it should have been, but it wasn't. It hasn't been so far.
Yeah,
when
maybe
you
a higher
read
keys.
the abilities, it's like, oh, this is gonna be really hard. But then when you do it, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like when I was doing research prior to Shadowlands, I like looked at this fight and I was like, dude, what the heck? Like, there's no
Yeah.
way. And then I saw it in action. I'm like, you can kind of ignore the mechanics for the most part.
Yeah, that kind of ends up what happens, is you just you just fumble
stand
through
in
it.
kind of like a line pattern. When
Strafe
the traps
left
go
and
out,
strafe
step
right.
back,
Yeah.
and then when the mechanic happens, push forward. Or strafe left and then strafe right back in is what I was doing.
Yeah,
And
like
it
that's all you
works
need
fine.
to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
It works
But then
great.
like individual characters will get bombed and like you can kind of just ignore it. It's like, okay, that character got bombed, whatever. Like we're just gonna let that
Yeah.
explode. As long as everybody doesn't get exploded on, then you're fine. But I feel like that's not gonna work at higher level keys. But
I feel like 6 and 7 plus is where you're gonna have. It's gonna become
Yeah.
really hard because like 4 and below, we can probably just burn through it fast.
yeah, I mean, I think otherwise he's a pretty simple fight. But that
Yeah, I
mechanic is
agree.
like scary, and then it ends up in reality not being that bad.
Yeah. No, I've been surprised. Like I haven't had trouble in that fight when you're expecting the worst for sure. So also that area is where you kind of clear up if you're doing Mythic Plus, you clear up your trash percentage too in that area. That's where you kind of recover whatever you
It's
need.
kind of nice that you have like this, like you're going to the last boss and you know how much percentage you need and you can kind of reconcile any missing that you have.
Yes.
But
Totally
a lot
agree.
of the trash chains in there. So you have to be very careful, and definitely having like the right path would be like very ideal for a dungeon like this, because the trash in that room, I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of movement involved on some of it.
Yeah.
What I've been trying to do when I fell a key, Trinity, so all the time, is using that as an opportunity to figure out my trash pattern in the different dungeons, because I've got some of them down where I know exactly what I need to be by the time I get to the end boss.
You know they
Or
make
the
add-ons
end
for this,
section.
right?
Yeah, but when you're making a guide, you got to make sure you have all of the infos.
Yeah, so the little update on that too. Mythic Dungeons Tools had that little bit of a snafu, and they're back. It's back to being normal. I guess normal now.
Man, baby
Yeah, we
dungeon tools for a
Yeah,
while.
we didn't talk about that last week. I kind of wanted to, but I
Yeah.
felt like that was way too far down the
The rabbit
way
hole.
too far off
That's
way too far off the multiboxing line. I do use MDT. I love MDT.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet this expansion, but it's a great tool if you've never used it. It's called Multiboxing or Mythic Dungeon Tools. It's super cool. You can it'll show you like what the percentage that each mob will give you, and you can create like paths and figure out like what mobs you need to kill to get to 100%.
Yeah, and there's a ton of websites out there too that basically for the solo players they'll show like, hey, this is the routes we do, kind of deal, and then from there you can kind of like. So I spent like over the weekend I looked at all the different routes of the main ones of each dungeon and kind of like mapped it out to see if I should be going a different way or whatnot, and it's nice to kind of get like an idea of like the preferred route and then how does that work with multiboxing. So I guess at some point maybe we could start making our own technical routes, like what seems to work.
That's what I started doing at the end of BFA, because like if you look at like a Dratnos route or something, it's like these guys are pulling like 4 trash packs at a time and kiting them and AoEing them down. So like it's a pretty useless route for us.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been trying to do is develop the routes. Like when I do Mist on the Druid team, I've got it down now, so I only need to pull 1.5 of the last trash packs. So you do the first one at the top, pull it back, kill it so you don't get knocked back, and then you can stealth down by the boss, and there's a pack off to the side, kill that, and it's easy. I wish I could do that on the Trinity team. But yeah, it's been pretty fun.
With all that though, like, I guess I just lost my train of thought there. I'm not sure, like, how we make that like easier. I don't know, for users.
I'm just trying to throw it in videos and be like, yo, here's the dungeon, here's the bosses, here's the trash path.
Actually, I'll probably just create the route and post it somewhere when I get to that point.
I kind of recovered what I was thinking here too. Like, I think it easier. What a lot of solo players are able to do is do multi packs and then kind of burn them down together.
Yep.
Is that something that we could probably do? I've never pushed it to that limit because I think you have to start kiting at that point, right? And then
on paladins you can do it because you're so durable. That's how I was doing it. I'd pull like 2 or 3 packs.
Because that's the biggest game.
Do it if you get really good at staggering tar traps. I could see you kiting with hunters.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where like the demon hunter comes into play, right? Where you just jump away and then just
being a shaman team. I don't know if you could do it because if you're kiting out of earthquake range, you're losing tons of damage.
Right. Yeah. No.
On
the shamans
team, you're always kiting because Starfall just auto plays your character for you.
Yeah,
I think it would have been more viable in like season 4 of BFA to do that sort of stuff. Right now with like tank damage as high as it is, like it's not even like how kiting was in BFA. It's like kiting on steroids, where like
you get touched, you're dead.
Yeah, and the amount of focus that you have to have on the tank, because it's not even about like staying alive. It's also like maintaining aggro while you're
That's
DPS.
The hardest part about kiting multiple packs. The damage actually isn't the problem. It's the aggro, because then they go kill your group, and it's like, okay, sweet. Now you have 3 packs on you as a tank. Kite all day, and it's not dying.
So, it's a high risky proposition, and I don't know that like as a multi-boxer you're really saving that much time. I don't think that you'd be as efficient versus just like pulling 3 packs.
I think because we've got 100% coordinated focus fire, and we know like if the healer needs to drink and we don't have stupid people doing dumb pulls, we pick up a lot of time from that alone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think you're better off just trying to optimize your path so that by the time you hit that last boss, you're there, or at least you're close enough that you can, some fights have random trash right in the last boss room, like Spires of Ascension. If you get there at 87.5%, I've done the math, you're done, right?
Yeah. And if you don't hit at the end, pretty much every single zone has something where
has a leave mechanic now.
Yeah, leave like get you to the front of the zone.
So the beginning, yeah. Like Necrotic Wake, like I've very often in Mythic Keys have gone back to the beginning and killed like another mob or 2.
Which doesn't hurt right before you start the dungeon. I wish I could.
No, but then you have to run back to the boss to get the loot. That's kind of annoying.
That is annoying at the end, yeah.
I would much rather like kill less things and have to go back and kill something rather than killing too much.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I
So
agree.
how about Muzala in the other side? Now that we're on that final boss of that stretch of the other side, as we talked
Yeah,
about Pats.
yeah.
One of us has to figure out how to eloquently do this and getting 2 packs through portals
So
to do
I
this in
killed
time.
this one, not on stream. I wiped a bunch on stream, and then when I finally killed it, I did it with my pally as the only one alive at the end. He actually did 2 of the 4 portals by himself. So
Wow.
it's kind of stupid, but I agree with Zoc. We have to do 4 portals to make this work, but if we could do 2 portals, we could cut the kill time literally in half from like an 8 to 9 minute fight to a 4 minute fight.
Yeah, you can get a lot faster.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, we just have to. That's kind of all there is
so
to it.
I've done it where I've split it where my main goes to a different location as opposed to the other team. I did not have my my DPS set up in a way that I could do TPS, but they weren't assisting. They were still assisting the wrong character. Like it wasn't working.
Can you do kind of what I talked about a couple weeks ago, where it's set focus on the hunters, and if they have a focus, kill that. If they don't have a focus, run your assist macro.
He's using that to heal, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
I
he's
could.
only using that on the
Oh,
healer,
yeah.
not on the DPS.
Well, all the DPS are healers though too.
Not for hunters.
So I guess for Trinity, yeah, you could do that for there.
You could also just clear focus and just
Yeah,
do
you hit your clear focus button because there's like 0 healing that needs to go out.
I think that would be the way to do it.
You take a lot of damage. Like they're doing something. I was standing in something where they were just getting like the dude was like pounding or whatever, and it was
Hit
causing.
your for the horde chain heal on the comments. And like that thing's crazy. I love that it's all red. It's good stuff. But what I'm getting at is like you can have a condition, right? If you have a focus that exists and it's harm, do damage on it. If you
Yeah,
have a focus that exists and it's helpful, heal it.
I gotcha.
And so you
Yeah,
could focus the thing, mash keys real quick, and then if you need to heal, click your button on that sets the focus to whoever you want to heal them, and then the setting focus back is the hard part because you're also with your other hand fighting with a tank or something.
Right,
Or you're
right.
blowing it up with the DPS quick, then you switch to the tank and try to kill it. But
So-
your tank might not have enough time.
So to get them split though, the way I did it was I basically you know what you always know where the portals are gonna kind of pop out, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of run towards that area. You get your followers to be lined up directly facing it, and then you just use like your
You
movement
press forward
keys.
and hold, right?
Yeah, for those characters. And while that's going, you hold your mouse down, the mouse buttons, and then tell your main character to kind of go someplace else, like to the different portal. Like you're driving him manually, while the other ones are just you're just like basically forward pressing on them.
Yeah, I would be pressing
That's
W
how I
with the
would
tank and
accomplish it.
up
Yeah.
key with the group. So if the group's moving to a portal and I'm moving forward at
Yeah.
the same time, I just be like W up arrow at the same time.
So I was able to reliably like split it where I got 2 portals at the same time. I just fail boated on actually making a DPS macro that doesn't have like an assist in it or like a focus combination. So I just basically take some prep work and it's doable at that point. So we could definitely take this out in 2 portals as opposed to
Yeah.
3.
I think
Oh,
I need
man.
to get more gear before I go try to do that fight willingly.
I think it's one of those things like when I feel like putting in the time to solving that problem, I will go in there and wipe for an hour or two until
Yes.
I optimize it to the point where I can do it like, with my eyes closed. And then
Yeah.
at that point, it'll be like a doable dungeon.
Yes.
But
I was thinking
doesn't make
doing
sense to do it
druids.
now.
Have the druids go through the portal, kill it, and then just use my blinky speed to get the second one, see if I can kill it. Just going one portal, get 2 bosses, but I don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know if that would work or not. I mean, you might be able to. It's certainly worth a try, but I don't know.
It's super tight. Trying to run from one to the other eats up half the kill time. So you'd have to kill the first one almost immediately.
Yeah.
Go to the
right.
next
And
one.
then also when you kill it, make sure you actually click
You
on the
have to click
mechanic.
the stupid
Yeah,
totem.
make sure you click on the totem. Yeah, but you could just cycle maybe Stampeding Roars and run over there to the next
Yeah.
one potentially.
So that's a nice shout out. I didn't realize you had to click the totem the first like 3 times I tried it. I just come out I'm like, what the hell? I killed the thing. Why is his health up? And then
Yeah.
some guy, I think his name's like Multi Days. He's like a Twitch streamer.
Oh geez.
I saw him like click a totem, and I was like, oh, that's why I wasn't killing it. It made me laugh pretty hard.
So the other piece of that fight though is actually it's an interesting mechanic, but it's totally doable with multiboxing. Where he does like his smash and then he blasts on either the left side or the right side. It's a constant rotation. It's going to be either one of those three, and then obviously by process of elimination, you'll know what the last one's going to be.
Yeah, you just dance the alts.
Yeah. So you just it's
almost
like,
always the close one last.
I
don't know if you guys have experienced that.
I can go with that. Yeah, but either way though, it's very telegraphed of what's going to happen, and then once you get used to that piece.
Yeah, the camera angle on it kind of stinks though. It's like kind of annoying.
Yeah.
The dancing wasn't what was killing me.
Oh,
it
for
was
sure.
The timing of the debuff where it drops with the dance. If you strafe past it, it's an instant one shot.
Oh,
and so then there were sometimes
if
I would take the hit to not get one shot, but now I have a dot on me that I got to play catch up on healing.
Yeah. I think you're better off taking the hit from the dance. I don't think it'll kill you.
Taking the hit from his dance mechanic will not kill you. It puts a dot on you. Taking a hit from the crap on the ground will one-shot you.
Right.
So that was kind of the trade-off. And a couple of attempts I had that were cleaner. It's like I because of having to do 4 portals, it's like, dude, I can be good like 3 out of 4 times, but 4 out of 4, like
it's a long fight. Like you're gonna mess up. You're gonna mess up in 9 minutes. Like you can't multi-box flawlessly for 9 minutes. Hell, I have a hard time doing anything over 2.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes is like, okay, if it's not dead, I am for sure.
Typically, that's the marker is 2 minutes, and then we need to drop it.
I think
the boss.
4 minutes, if you're well geared, is and 5 minutes is your upper limit. Like past that, there's no cooldowns. You're out of mana.
Yeah,
you've got fatigue.
The wheels are falling off.
Mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always mechanic fatigue for me.
Your wife is yelling that she needs more plants.
There you go. Like something bad's happening
in the background, and you're just dead.
Yeah, so that's the other side, which is it's going to be a harder dungeon for everybody in the grand scheme of things, but this is actually a doable one. I don't know if it's going to be one of the ones when you get your keys, for the week or whatever, we're like, yes, I got to do the other side, but it's going to be like, all right, I can if it's a push comes to shove, this is when I can just finish. Maybe not in the timer, but
maybe just deplete the key so you get another one.
Yeah, get something out of it. Which
it's definitely not the first one I would go for.
I would be really happy with Blizzard if they decided to change the way the keys work, where if you didn't like the key, you could get a different one of a lower level, as opposed to having to actually finish it.
So much sense that they don't though.
I know that it was like that previously, and I think people were just not doing keys, but it just goes to show then, like, if they're like, okay, well, if everybody's not doing this dungeon, let's fix the dungeon, right? Like let's
you would think that's what they would do.
Yeah,
that is Toldagor would tell you that is not what they do.
I was super annoyed when I tried to go zone in, zone out with a reset to kill my key, and like it didn't change, and I was like, wait, what? Like the day that happened, I was so annoyed.
Yeah, because you're like, you mean I have to do this, Siege of Morales? I'm not doing this.
And so I'm like, well, this is a dead key.
Yeah.
And then I had like in Legion when I could reset them, like I had way more fun, and I played the game more, and they probably made way more money off me because I'd boost characters to go raiding on Alliance servers, and I could get into raids.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's important though, because technically at a certain point, people are going to end up getting their caches every week and be like, I got a dead key. Luckily with multi-boxing, you got 5 options, but for solo players, it's kind of rough. Like you're like, well, I got to use somebody else's key because this one's nobody's going to want to do it.
That's when you hope you're a tank or a healer and you just go join a group looking for a tank or a healer, and you get out of it and you're like, oof, that was a close one.
I don't know that like solo players really like Mythic Plus that much. I think there's like a community that likes it, but I think like the rating culture group like hates them for the most part.
It's definitely taken a beating. As if you can factor everything in this expansion, it's kind of the one that's gotten hurt between that rating and doing
Torghast
or PvP in general. Like PvP is really the best way to gear up right now. Rating is also obviously amazing. It's where you get the highest stuff, the easiest. Well, I should say the easiest. It's figurative, right? If you have the time for it. And then Mythic Plus.
I don't understand the raider culture where people are like, they're getting the same gear I'm getting in 5-man content. I'm like, dude, they get 1 piece a week. You get like 12 a night. Like, chill.
They did get it drastically reduced, but at the same time, I mean, it's really one of those things where like they were able to take that large chunk and have a group of people do it, because Mythic Plus, I mean, it's definitely overtuned for what the reward is on there.
Oh yeah,
I think raiders just hate having to do it. Honestly,
probably,
if I'm being completely honest, raiders just feel like they have to do it, and when you tell somebody you have to do something, then it's like
Agreed.
not fun.
I could see it from that angle where like you need to do some Mythic Plus to like flesh out your character to do the raid itself.
I think they tried to problem, this expansion, to some
Yeah.
degree. And I think they
It
did a good
seems
job
like
with
it. Because Mythic 0 is 184, and then the next jump is 200 off normal. So if you don't do Mythic Plus, it's not that big of a deal. But if 171 was like where Mythic was, and then 200 is where the raid was, everybody would be making you get 184 gear out of, like, say, Mythic Plus, for example, before you came to the raid.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is right now, right? Like, so, like, the first weeks of, like, Heroic Nathria, like, all the tryhard guilds were, like, making you do every Mythic 0. Like, you had to go do every Mythic 0
Yeah.
the first week that dungeons were available. And then you had to go do the same for the next week, and then you just had to pump keys because...
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, like, a Mythic 0 is only 16 away from normal, so it's not that big of a deal. If it was a bigger gap, like, say 213 was where normal gear was, everybody would be pushing you to do, like, 2+ mythics to get that 190 something gear. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
think so.
because there's, like, only 16 item levels for Mythic 0, yeah, you have to do Mythic 0 before you do normal, but the incentive to go grind away Mythic Plus isn't that big of a return now because they kind of neutered it.
Yeah. So I'm like kind of a suggestion, because I know they want to make it so you don't do that to go into rating, right? Because they kind of want rating as like their pinnacle on the piece. If they could do some kind of gate,
it's like the hallmark of the game,
right? But if they could do some, but I feel like the obviously the game has evolved. It's like you had to like chunk each piece out. I would say Mythic Plus is probably, if you looked at BFA, right, or something like that, more people did Mythic Plus or participated in that than probably any other facet of it. And it also has like the biggest replay value too, right? Overall, hypothetically. So
Diablo 3 inside World of Warcraft.
Right. So with that, like if they could just like ease up, or I basically maybe like increase the eye levels like down the road. So like right now, like, you know, you do a Mythic Plus 2, you get a 200 eye level piece in your vault, right? But
yeah,
let's say 2 months from now or 3 months from now, they modify that where that's now like a 205 piece or something, or a 210 piece.
It would just be nice if, say, when the next raid tier comes out, let's say that the normal becomes 226 and heroic is plus 13 and mythic's plus 13 of that. Maybe Mythic Plus starts dropping 200 or 213. So we're like always one raid tier behind.
Yeah,
I know. I'm saying, but like if they keep it like to a very specific formula, so people know what it is, it's like it's gonna be right in between normal and heroic every time a new raid tier comes out.
Yeah, like I don't like how they eye level bloat, because it's essentially like, I don't know how long the first season's gonna be. They haven't even like announced the next raid tier, and like we're like a month into it. But like at some point, if you're in the throes of like the tier or the season, it almost like doesn't make sense to even try to push, because like it's just gonna get reset when the next season comes around.
Right.
Now you're describing like a new the last 2 years of my gaming experience. Wow. I just don't bother seasons 1 and 2, and then I come back in season 3 and have fun getting gear so I can do season 4.
That is a common theme,
you get
right?
Season 4 and you're like, oh, this gear is actually useless.
Yeah, everything gets reset.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
But I don't know. It's the journey, right? That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only request. My other request is maybe if they could like throw some bones and put something else in Torghast too. Like, you know, like some kind of loot reward. Besides,
like a weekly reward. What's your highest layer?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Put something in there. That'd be super cool. On there.
I don't know what they're doing with layers. Like, I feel like the layers aren't going to be increasing at all this like season, and I feel like what we have is what we have for the rest of it. I don't know if like 8's high enough. I feel like they should release more.
Well, it was super hard. Everybody got upset. And then they nerfed it, right? So I think that's maybe where Twisting Quarters comes out.
We have to do things for gear?
Yeah.
I better go to the forums.
But
you don't even do it for gear. You do it for like currency that gets you gear indirectly.
Yeah. It's
but it's a legendary required raider gear, and they get angry when you make it required.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that pans out. Either way, though, the whole concept has been good. I'm still really happy with it. But you know, obviously, we're nitpicking like things that we want to optimize.
I'm actually not a fan of Torghast. As a solo player, I thought it was awesome. As a multi-boxer, I'm bored out of my mind. Like, I think I complain and whine the whole time I do a Torghast.
Oh no!
Like, I'm like, here we go, gonna die to a trap. Oh look, an hour of my life gone.
The traps are really rough for multi-boxing. They are really rough.
Yeah, dude. I died to one of the traps, and I managed to fell a layer 1 while streaming. I was laughing so hard. Like, because I was speed running through it, not caring, like just blowing through it.
Yeah.
And I got to the end and I died to the trap, but I died in a way that I couldn't like res through the trap, and so I ran through it. I'm like, okay, going really careful, and then I got hit by a fear bomb into the trap and like died, and I just started laughing. I was like, fuck this game, and I turned off my screen.
I had something happen similarly. So Mortrigar is like the one that I hate. Like I freaking can't stand that one.
Yeah.
But like there's a bunch of levels in there where like you have to take portals or like or there's like these things that you have to like click on the little thing with the rope to like go across.
Oh yeah.
And like it's like when you land, it's like you're immediately thrown in combat. So it's not even like, you know, you can kind of gingerly click one by one. It's like no, and then like if you don't break follow before you click on it, then like your characters will follow your main off the ledge. Yeah, I totally failed like a layer 2 on my priests of Mortrigar, and I was just like, you know what, screw Torghast. I was like, I'm not doing Torghast unless like I absolutely feel like I'm enjoying a team, and I don't have that going on any of my teams right now, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I almost
that's pretty
broke
fair.
a keyboard from that stupid portal mechanic one. I just turned off. I was like, and we're going to be done with Torghast today because I'm eating 2 men.
So the good news is, right, is that hypothetically, like, you don't have to do it too much when you get the Soul Ash. But, like, on my teams, like, they have layer 8 now, right? Like, I just knock out, you know, one of them one day and then another one a different day, and and at that point, too, like, if you don't really want a bunch of legendaries, I mean, you don't have to farm that much, and then it's kind of...
My druids and my Trinity are, like, 7 and 8. So now I'm in that luxury spot, but I can't tell you the other night when I was like seeing that I had to do 1 through 8 because the shaman got switched. I got to about 4 and then my patience wore out.
Wait, so you couldn't queue up as like on the 8 with the main tank if somebody in the group didn't complete that level? Is that how that works, or?
It sucked.
Why didn't you just run the shaman through solo?
I don't know. I wouldn't do that. That's not multiboxing.
Yeah, I was streaming, so like I'm not gonna like solo resto shaman runs Torghast. That's gonna be fun and interactive. Watch me
solo undergeared resto shaman.
That's exactly. Content right there. Yeah, that's good.
So I mean, I don't know. It was weird. But now I've got it fixed now, so it's better. I'm just not a fan of Torghast. As a solo player, I actually think it was really good. It was a good addition. Yeah. If they added an item to it, I think it'd be better.
Like, give me a reason to want to run it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I don't feel it now.
Yeah.
Like I'm not asking you to rain heroic gear on me, but like maybe if I do 3 Torghast runs in a week, I get something in my cache, or maybe give me like a weekly quest to finish, like get my current layer that I've done, and if I can get 1 layer of improvement, give me like a random calling bag that's purple in it, right?
Yeah, something you take away out of the dungeon besides just the
calling bag would actually probably be like a bone, and it wouldn't even be that big of a bone, but it would.
I'm
feel
saying
better.
you get 1 calling purple bag a week from doing Torghast.
Yeah, it's not even that big of a deal, but I would feel like it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it would feel good.
It would make me do it every week.
Yeah, you get some gold out of it. Yeah, it's totally fine. Then.
It's like whether it's gold or a random like +3 item level upgrade, that's cool. But like just hey, here's 2,000 gold.
Yeah,
sweet.
I agree.
And make it so it's 1 per week, so you can't farm it.
Yeah, they should just like whatever max layer you complete, you get a cash item for that, and it can be from any source.
Yeah, that could be cool. Like item
it's like
roulette.
random PvP. Yeah, could be PvP, could be raiding, could be dungeons.
Yeah, you get a Torghast item slot, and it just picks a random item from whatever item level. Like say 8's a 213 because it's the highest right now, and it's a 213 anything. It's like, you got a PvP trinket. You're like.
Yeah, that would be so worth it, because it would be an upgrade for anyone who's like barely able to complete an 8, and it would, but at the same time it wouldn't be so strong that like mythic raiders would be like crying about random noobs getting 213s.
Yeah,
that would actually be like a super good way to do it.
So you guys want to do a recap on what you're planning for the week? We'll try to.
I think you should go first because last week you went last.
All right, that's fair. So I kind of recently even I touched on a little bit. I think I'm going to squeeze down to 2 teams. I had 4, right? And I want the teams to be PvP viable as well as PvE is kind of the goal that I'm looking at. So with that criteria, I'm kind of squeezing out the Trinity comp for the moment and focusing, because I really want to push keys higher than just 2s or 3s.
So you druids and pallies then?
Druids and the shamans. I know the shamans I really want to work because I think the shamans are the most viable for my playstyle for arenas. Now that the druids have been the most effective, but it's just too gimmicky, right? Like at a certain point.
What about triple ret?
I tried. So my characters are super undergeared, right? But I tried prop paladin and 2 ret, and obviously I need more practice on it and everything. It seemed okay, but as soon as people just start kiting you, I mean, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough when they start kiting you so at least with there is survivability there, but at least with the combo that I like is a prop paladin and 2 enhancement shamans.
That sounds really fun.
At least with that, right? When you blow your cooldowns, your enhancement shamans are able to hit anything within 30 yards with melee strikes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For 15 seconds. So you can literally like just laser beam down a mage or something, right? You just look at him and you're like,
have you done that comp yet this season?
Yeah, I did it. I got I had about a 30% win rate.
Were you streaming it?
I know.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I don't remember you streaming.
No.
It's
It's rough.
Because I'm curious to see how it plays. Because when you said you were doing Prot 2 Enhance, I was kind of like, that sounds intriguing. That's
so
fun.
what's surprising about that comp is it has a lot of survivability in it. If you drop doing lightning bolts on enhancement shamans, you can weave in instead chain heals, as well as doing chain harvest, which is the Venthyr ability. So you have a ton of healing. Plus the prop paladin is healing like crazy too.
Yeah, Prop Paladin.
So the combo then is whenever somebody goes to attack you, right? Like whoever's getting the burst down, you can either bop them with their paladin, or you can use the PvP talent that switches your 50% damage reduction ability into an immunity for somebody else for 10 seconds. It's like you bubble somebody else. Now they can interrupt the bubble, which is kind of annoying. But at least you stop the burst from happening. So whenever you open up the fight, I typically pop that ability when the character gets down to like 50% health, and they're like, oh shoot, you're like, what just happened? And they have to switch targets or fix it. And at the point, you kind of sort of stabilize. So it gets you out of that first like 10 second window.
That
where
makes sense why you're going with shamans then. Because I was for sure thinking you're gonna end up being Pally Druid.
And I thought
PvP.
I thought so too. But the paladins, like you can bubble, which you survive the initial window as well, which is good. But then if you get like a mage or something or anything else that just snares you, I mean, you can break out of it, but at a certain point, you're still getting chunked. Now the shaman team's going to run into the same issue as well, for that. But at least on the opener, you can still blow something up, hypothetically. So
that sounds cool.
That's my 2 comps. That's what I'm focusing on. Hopefully to do. I'm hoping to do a 4 or 5 key this week. I think 4 is totally doable as long as I get the right keys. Maybe a 5, and if not, maybe higher. We'll see. So, what do you guys got? Nothing?
Doc, you want to go?
Sure. So I got the 4 hunters too.
Sorry, I was following the order of your list.
Okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah. So I got the 4 hunters to 60, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. Although I also never really like leveled it with the intention of playing 4 hunters, at least like not right away.
Yeah.
I just wanted the options. So I think I'm going to level my Brewmaster and Shamans. I'm a little tired of leveling. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of teams.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little spread thin, and I still don't have like that team that I can push on.
On top of doing all that, you're still playing a solo character and raiding on that. So I mean, like you're.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot. So I might actually just like take the week off from multiboxing, and there's like another project I want to work on as well. Since there's quite a few people pushing Mythic Plus now.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think
so.
It's good.
We'll see. I was kicking around the idea of like taking this week off, like doing some callings and like maybe seeing if I could do a Mythic Plus on the priest or something. Maybe push a little bit on the hunters, but probably like level my Brewmaster and Shamans the following week, and then I'd have a Trinity team because I can get a team. I can get like a team from 50 to 60 in like a matter of, I don't know, like 2 days. Like it doesn't take that much time.
Yeah. I think you'll be a lot happier with the Trinity comp. I think that's kind of your style. I think you'll like it once you get there.
Yeah, I just need something that like that I can like focus on. Because right now I'm just like playing really dumb gimmicky comps and they're not really working out the way I'd want them to.
Yeah.
And it's just like frustrating and it's like not as much fun as I would like to believe it.
So when you're going 50 to 60 in 2 days, are you like questing your way through it or are you doing dungeons?
No, I just do quests. I just
Yeah.
followed the storyline with war mode on, and it's like 15% bonus. It's like,
Because you're
yeah,
like doing 50 to 60 in half the time it's taken me to dungeon grind it.
yeah, I don't think dungeon grinding is like a great use of your time unless you have a really geared team from like level.
If you're a druid group, you just snipe it and it's stupid fast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I
hate
could see
questing
that.
and
Or
paladins are fun.
yeah, or you, like you said, like you had the gear from the get go. Like my druid team had like 125 high level gear like out the gate. So like they were just like 50 to 55. The dungeons were like just they were abnormally easy because you overgeared it by a lot.
I
But
pretty much re-rolled Alliance because I wanted to PvP essentially. Like World PvP as Horde is like really dumb because it's really hard to like ever find anybody to kill.
yeah,
And you have like the opposite problem on Alliance.
too many.
There's plenty of people to kill.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been playing Alliance, and that's why like all my teams from BFA are kind of like sitting there rusting.
Yeah.
But also it's kind of nice to like have something fresh. But yeah, it's definitely like I've definitely not accomplished much so far in Shadowlands, but I don't know. I don't really want to play druids, so
That's
Makes
okay.
sense.
Yeah, no, I you know, it's all about moderation and just, you know, having fun. I mean, like, again, at the same time, like, I know I could have probably pushed Mythic Plus a lot harder than I have, and my team should be a lot higher level, but, you know, it's just about...
we got all
I'm
expansion
fine.
too.
Yeah,
Keep
exactly.
going slow so I can
Yeah.
pass. When you're on 4 teams, I'm like, all right, if I can make one of my teams suck half as bad as him, I will catch him.
There you go. So,
Yeah. I mean, I've got my prop pallies that are in the work. I've got my druids are off sailing. They're fine. They're pushing almost 200 item level now. They're like all mid 190s. I think my lowest geared one's like 180 something.
oh, wow.
My other project is I was going to try Demon Hunter 4 Shamans, but I didn't want to just go drag my new shaman through with 3 low shamans. So I actually made on my healer account a monk, and then on my tank account a demon hunter. So I'm going to try to do demon hunter, monk, 3 shamans. So then now I will have a max level healer of every type on my healer account.
That's pretty nice
So
for
I can start
flexibility,
messing
yeah.
with my Trinity comp.
Yeah,
And I'll have a tank of every type too. Well, I don't have a warrior, but who wants the warrior? They're terrible.
Yeah, they're
free
a little
kills in
they're a little bit
arenas.
not too great in shape right now.
Yeah.
This expansion.
I actually leveled a bunch of. So I was playing Alliance on Kill Jaden prior to Shadowlands. Like that's what I was leveling on. I actually have a team of like 4 warriors and a paladin over there, and I leveled it to 50, and that was like a complete waste of my time.
Yeah, it's fun in World PvP though. You charge and whirlwind people. It was pretty fun.
Yeah,
It's gimmicky.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then I've also been like trying to focus on legendary farming. So I got the druids taken care of. The stupid hunters, hopefully this week I get theirs. Because I'm also having like I think I'm going through where you were last week, right? Where like, I'm kind of sold on this idea of going Venthyr, right? Because I think Venthyr marksman with the poison legendary is going to be the highest single target DPS I can get. And Venthyr on Shaman is 1,000 times better than Vesper Totem.
Yeah,
So it's like,
depending on how you use it. Yeah, but the issue I run into is you guys have seen that is I don't use cooldowns.
I'm
I just
aware.
let them sit, you know. So
I'm
as long
dying.
as
I
you,
have 5 bubbles.
yeah, as long as you use the cooldown, it's really good. So there's that.
So I'm doing paladins right now with my Kyrian main tank and then the 4 Venthyr, but I'm even thinking making my main go Venthyr. But then I'm kicking around this idea of keeping multiple covenants for Mythic Plus groups because there's so many nice little things that each covenant adds to a dungeon.
Yes, we're talking about covenants next week too.
Yeah,
I was giving you a teaser, babe.
Okay.
They are actually.
I was like,
yeah, they've gone from
Don't go
important to non-important to important again. So it'll be nice to talk about them.
Yeah. I was
on
helping you have content for next week teed up just like I
you're
did,
so
but then
good.
you called it out.
You're so nice.
yeah, so we're gonna talk about covenants next week. It'll be pretty exciting. I feel like we've discovered a lot over the last month or so around like how covenants work and like what's actually viable in terms of or feasible in terms of time commitment, etc.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's definitely I don't know. I was all in on Kyrian because of that health stone, and I think I was doing too much Plague Fall, and I was just like cleansing stuff. But then once I got out of Plague Fall, I was like, all right, I'm getting bottlenecked on 2+ Tyrannical. This is gonna be a horrible season if I don't start changing some.
Mixed comp sounds interesting though. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Did you see the balls on the first boss of Necrotic Wake? If you have Kyrian and you go talk to the Goliath, they make those worms explode.
Yeah, I only did it on. I only got the balls on one character though. Like I should have got them on all of them apparently. Like you just get everybody to get them right. Does everybody pick up some of it? You're saying?
No, not a pickup. You go to one of the Goliaths. I know we're at the end of the thing. We should probably stop talking about. Last thing, I promise. You go up to the Goliath. You tell your little steward, "Hey, restore this Goliath."
Yeah,
He
yeah.
throws out 5 like glowing balls. You strafe through them, and it gives everybody an AOE heal and an AOE damage. So you just stack your group together. They're just spamming like AOE healing on each other, and then when the worms come out, they just explode.
So what I did was I only ran around on my main tank, and I just let the other guys just stand
it's
off to the
one
side.
per person. Is what it
Okay,
is.
that's what it was. I messed
So you
up
go
on
kind
that.
of like diamond formation. You strafe through it, make sure everybody gets hit. Pull the boss, hit it with a spear, hit lust. The thing dies quick.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. But I have to have Kyrian now, I guess, for that to work.
Spires
So.
of Ascension, maybe if you think that you need that one, but I haven't done it enough to really know if it's worth it. So
Yeah,
I think next week, if we break down those covenants, we'll figure out more.
Yeah,
For
sounds
sure.
good.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right,
Have
guys.
a great week.
That was good.